They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, but what if one eye could steal it? In a place where dreams collide with fate, a single choice can change everything or destroy it all. In the vibrant, serene village of Asenta, life seemed perfect on the surface. The mornings were filled with the laughter of children running through sunlit fields, and the evenings echoed with the rhythmic beats of drums and songs of celebration. But for KORKOR, a 25-year-old seamstress with big dreams, the charm of Asenta was not enough. She longed for more: wealth, recognition, and a life beyond the confines of her small workshop. Every day she worked tirelessly, crafting garments with intricate designs. Her colourful dress was as bright as her ambitions, but the reality of her life was far less radiant. She barely earned enough to survive, let alone chase her dream of becoming a renowned fashion designer. Yet hope lingered in her heart, pinned to a flyer on her workshop wall, a prestigious city fashion contest that could change her life forever. It was on a restless night, driven by a mixture of desperation and curiosity, that KORKOR ventured to Kaku Market, a mysterious bazaar whispered about in the village. They said Kaku Market had the power to fulfill desires, but at a price. The path to the market was shrouded in mist, the air thick with the scent of incense and the faint sound of drums echoing in the distance. The market was unlike anything KORKOR had ever seen. Stalls overflowed with colourful beads, carved figurines, and glowing trinkets that seemed to hum with an unearthly energy. The traders, draped in vibrant fabrics, moved silently, their faces obscured by shadows. Whispers filled the air, strange and unintelligible, as if the market itself was alive. As KORKOR wandered through the labyrinth of stalls, her gaze was drawn to a cloaked figure standing apart from the crowd. The figure's stall was modest, holding only a few items, but it radiated a strange magnetic pull. Her footsteps faltered as she approached, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. The figure's presence was unnerving. Though their face was hidden, KORKOR felt their eyes piercing through her, seeing her deepest desires and unspoken fears. Without a word, the figure reached under their cloak and produced a small, intricately carved wooden box. It was unlike anything KORKOR had seen before, its surface etched with ancient symbols that seemed to shift in the dim light. The box opened slowly, as if by its own will, revealing a charm nestled inside. A vibrant blue eye encircled by gold stared back at her, glowing faintly. An invisible force seemed to reach out to her, filling her mind with promises of wealth, success, and a life she had only dreamed of. In that moment, KORKOR felt as though the charm had chosen her, not the other way around. Her hand trembled as she picked it up. A soft whisper filled her ears, but no one was speaking. "It begins," the voice said, faint and chilling. The figure said nothing more, but as KORKOR turned to leave, she felt a strange heaviness settle over her, as though she had unknowingly stepped into a story she could not escape. From the moment she brought the charm home, KORKOR's life began to change. At first, it was subtle. A forgotten payment from a client appeared in her basket. Then it grew. Customers began lining up at her workshop, her fame spreading beyond Asenta. Soon, money flowed freely, and the finest fabrics filled her shelves. She no longer needed to dream. Her reality was transforming before her eyes. But with every gain came a loss. Her joy was shadowed by tragedy that seemed to strike those around her. A colleague fell down a flight of stairs after a minor disagreement. Her best friend, who had shared in her newfound success, narrowly survived a car crash when her brakes mysteriously failed. Then came the fire that engulfed her neighbor's house, the family left with nothing. The villagers began to whisper about KORKOR's sudden fortune, their eyes filled with suspicion and fear. The charm, once a source of hope, now felt like a curse. Every time Korkor held it, she felt its weight grow heavier, as if it carried the sorrow of those who had suffered. Her nights became restless. Shadows seemed to shift on her walls, forming vague shapes of figures pointing accusingly at her. Her dreams turned to nightmares, where she was surrounded by faceless beings whispering of guilt and punishment. In her mirror, her reflection began to change. Her eyes flickered blue, glowing like the charm that had brought her so much pain. Voices filled her mind, haunting and insistent. Destroy it, they warned, their tones both pleading and threatening. But another voice, softer and more alluring, whispered, keep it, and the world will pay. Destroy it, and so will you. The decision weighed heavily on her. Late one night, as the village lay silent, Korkor sat in her workshop, the charm glowing ominously before her. Its pulsating light filled the room, casting sharp, unnatural shadows that seemed to move on their own. A hammer rested in her trembling hand, her face streaked with tears. Her mind raced with the possibilities. Could she abandon the wealth and success she had longed for? Could she live with the curse and the pain it brought to others? The voices grew louder, clashing in her head, until she could bear it no longer. With a scream that echoed through the silent night, Korkor raised the hammer and brought it down with all her strength. The charm shattered into glowing fragments, and the whispers ceased instantly. For a moment there was silence, an unnatural, deafening stillness. Then the glow faded, leaving only darkness. As the sun rose over a center, the village seemed untouched by the horrors of the night. Korkor stepped outside, her colorful dress catching the morning light, but her face bore the weight of her ordeal. She had destroyed the charm, but its memory lingered, a shadow she could not shake. Inside her workshop, the shattered fragments of the charm lay still on the table, but one shard, faintly glowing, flickered before dimming completely, or so she thought. In Kaku Market, as the day began, a young child stumbled upon a faintly glowing shard in the dirt. With a curious smile, they picked it up, their innocent fingers brushing against the remnants of a curse that was far from over. If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and subscribe for more.